Hello, 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 hello. Hello, hello, hello. Let us go ahead and start here. So today, what is today's plan? It is a sort of a continuation from yesterday, and we are going to be working on our drop some more. And I've been doing some work before the stream, so as usual, I will show you what I have been doing here. So, as we've been doing, I had taken the serum patches, condensed them down into, or didn't really condense them, but I recorded them onto a resampled bass track. I've also kind of cleaned up the project a little bit. I'm still doing so. We're not using those right now. And I have been mostly just cleaning up in the meantime. Not really coming up with a drop quite yet, because I figured that I'll spend my time instead cleaning up the project, correcting the notes that are there otherwise, and then just kind of prepare it for a bass line. And the other thing I did was I took all of my kits, or all my samples from my transient bass and my wub bass 1 and 2, recorded them out, and put them all into a single kit. And then on that one single kit, I am able to play all of my bass samples. So if we take a look down here, you can see I have all of my bass samples right here on the track ready to play. And I'll be using that to my advantage here. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm going to change the pad color. Because why not? Let's see. So I'm going to change this to green. Yeah, that's fine. It's necessary. Yeah, it's whatever. I want this to be black because that's the color of the bass track. So I sort of like how the pads look. But what I've been basically doing is I've been trying to sort out each individual hit by its length and its kind of characteristic. So I've been grouping all of the sounds that have 16th notes like this. I've been grouping all of those together. So I'm going to continue doing that because I had started before the stream, but I'm bringing you guys in now. So these are all my 16ths, and this is anything that's 2 notes, like an 8th note speed, I'll put next to each other, and then all of my longer, that's not exactly the longest. Now I think I'm going to move that back then. Short. That one's long. And then, yeah, so I'm just reorganizing. And then the top here, yeah, so I moved all these samples into this kit and deleted that extra kit. So this is a 8th note thing. Oops, that's the wrong spot. Right there. Oh no, that's like quarters. Okay, maybe I'll put that above then. 2, yeah. So what if we do 16ths all the way up top? That's another short one. That's a 16th, so that can go up top as well. And then this is another short. That's kind of a longer one. Let's do that here then. It's going to be up here. It's going to be down here. We're almost done, guys. Put that one on the second page. Whoops. Yeah, that's right. Meant to do that. I swapped them. I can also go here. And these two can come back. That can go up with the other faster ones. Cool. So these could be at the beginnings of phrases, these longer notes. I could use these in between as well, these like 16th note figures. Oh, hello. Hello, we have a viewer. So, basically, I'm putting together a... Okay, I'm going to rename this drum rack as well. Bass Slices Kit. Okay, so I'm sort of making a drum kit that's full of bass sound effects. Oh, I'm really low down here. Yep, so, and we've been doing this for the past 2 streams, so it should be familiar, but I have, between streams, I had consolidated all of the slices into one kit, and I have also, just now, I've reorganized them into sort of categories based on their speed. So I've got all the eighth notes, all of the sounds that are like short staccato hits next to each other. And then I have all of the sort of medium length stuff, or the longer stuff, up here. I'll show you. It's down here. More so, like I have all of the longer stuff up here, and then all of the stuff that has a repeating pattern here. That way I can easily play in a drop. So have all of those next to each other. I'm going to move this one next to another similar sounding one. So now I have cool. Cool. All right, now what could we come up with here? The problem I'm having right now is that I have a melody. I have trap horns. I have drums. Also, I've made some new drums. I just whipped them up real quick before the stream, just to get away from the beat we were using, very temporary, and it's not actually what was going to be there. Yeah. Okay, so suppose we can start messing around with all these sounds and coming up with something. Yeah, and the problem I was having is that I'm having now is that these all are on the note F, all these figures, so all these bass sounds. So I'm gonna have to transpose everything afterwards because I can't really use this and also control the pitch. What I could do, actually, I have an idea. I'm just gonna team up with this. So we could have a sort of global transposition. We could do it so that we could map the transposition of all of these sounds to a macro, and then just kind of transpose all of the samplers at once. But instead of that, I'm going to use an effect. So let's do. It's going to be a pitch, or a repitch effect. Let's see if I can find this here. If it might not even be worth doing. Ah, you know what? Okay, I thought this was a thing. That's actually a thing in Logic, right? So I'll do that after the fact. It's gonna have to be printed out and transposed like I thought before. I was thinking I could put like a pitch effect on it and I could just automate just repitching the whole thing down to semitones, but I don't have an effect that's convenient, or I don't think I have an effect that's going to sound that great with that. So let's actually do this, because I want to still have the horn here, just so I have an idea of what where it's going to be in relation to. I was considering, I don't know, I could change the notes to F, but I'll just play the bass. I'll just imagine it's right. I'm really liking this one. Okay, I've got kind of a, I'm repeating this one thing here. I want to have something different there. So now we can actually go in and move the notes around like this, get it more precise. Another thing I'd like to do first is quantize them. Let's do it to 8 to 16th notes. Now I can be a lot more precise with it. I have to make sure no notes are happening at the same time, because one's going to cut the other off. I want to move this forward a bit. Yeah. that's fine. Our 16ths are going to be up here. Yeah, something like that. That's what I was looking for. That's kind of cool. Yeah. Let's change these notes to that, maybe? And with drops, you kind of want to keep like a keep like a similar theme going. So that's what this that's what these first notes, these first two notes are kind of doing. At the beginning of each phrase, there's this figure in some shape or way, shape, or form. So here, not there, but here as well. And then maybe here I can change it to something else. But I'm going to keep it the same. But I'll just move the timings around a little bit. Let's try repeating this. Okay, cool. Trying to find the best note to repeat here. Don't like that timing. Okay, let's take this. Let's take this whole phrase here. We'll expand that out. Expand the resample track out, and move these two things over because we're not using them right now. These are all just the raw audio we used for our bass samples, for our bass kit. Now what we're going to do is record that out again onto the resample track. And we're also going to include some of the macros I set up on the left here. This one is to give us a little bit of delay, slapback delay. This one is a Redux bit crusher. This one's a low pass filter. So I'll make sure that I have on the effects I want to have. Let me adjust the shape of that autofilter's wobble. Let's do it as a ramp up. Okay, I'm going to bring this in as eighths. Actually, sixths. That's cool. All right. Let's actually record it this time. All right, now we have this. It recorded over a little bit of the beginning. We can bring that back, adjust that. Cool. Then we can mute this track and come in here. And whenever the pitch changes with our horns, we will also change the pitch of the bass. So right now everything's on F, so we have to first make the slices where they need to be. Let's zoom in enough so that we can create a slice right here. So, boom, and boom. That's the same pitch, so no need there, there, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. Slice that up. Yep, appears to be good. Now, we have warp mode on. It's going to rely on this feature right here, the warp, and we're going to transpose it down. So right now it's an F. We need it to be a C. That is 6 semitones down. No, 5 semitones down. 5 semitones down. And of course we need to hear it as well. All right, and then we can mess with it until we can mess with the warp settings, that is, until we get a satisfactory result here. This sounds pretty good. Right now we're using the beats mode to transpose it, and it sounds something like. Oh, what did I do? I think I did something to the horns. Ah, whoops. That's right. I keep making that mistake. It records everything. I need to just do the bass track. Yeah, I need to do that over again. Make sure that only the bass track is soloed, not the drums, not anything else. Just this. Not the metronome either. It's gonna record the metronome. So let's try that again. Yeah, that's it. That's all I want. There's some delay. Alright, let's try that again. Boop. Right. Awesome. Okay. Now let's do the same cuts. There, and there's fine. Okay. Let's hop in to this clip here. Warp. Transpose down 5 semitones from F to C. Or, there's another way to do it. There's another way to do it. Better way to do it. In fact, I don't have to make cuts at all. I can use automation. Let's do that instead. I can automate this knob right here, the transpose, on this whole clip. So, we want to start 5 semitones down, and that control becomes available now on our main window here, so you can see. Oops, that's track panning. We want to go to. I believe this can be automated. Maybe not. Perhaps it needs to be a sampler. Oh, here we go. Clip. It's in the clip envelope. It's not in the main view. It's down here. So we want to start 5 semitones down, and then right here. Oh, this is going to be kind of difficult now to see where I need to transpose, but C to D and then to E. It's down 1 semitone, and then C again, D, and then E. Let's just do it in the same places for now, and we'll compare. Oops, I went too far, I think. Oh. Oops, I went too fast. Alright, transpose too late. Do it there. I think it even happens. Okay, that's fine. Let's try different warp modes. Another thing we need to do to this is compress it. Let's move it onto its own track, because I want to leave this track empty. And that clip volume should stay with it, so the transposition stays on this clip when I move it across, which is what's nice about clip automation, which is what I'm doing. I think this algorithm sounds good right around here, like Pro with, I don't know. I can't really tell much of a difference. Hmm. Ooh, it's cool. Maybe it doesn't have to be necessarily all a certain pitch. It can curve up into the new pitch. Or, yeah. And it could do it over a longer period. Like that. And maybe it could even do this. All right, let's throw on the glue compressor. Throw on saturator before it. Let's put all of our horns in a subgroup here, because I want to compress them together and maybe pan them a bit. Horns. So this can go, let's solo this. This can go on the left. And this can go on the right. And our contact synth can come up a bit. Also, you notice that there is another level here beneath the main volume. This is the main volume, and this is the sends. So the sends are going to the verb, and this is and I have a small reverb plugin on here that's giving the, if we were to solo that, it's giving the horns a little bit of, okay, if I unsolo this. It's giving it just a little bit of reverb. So that's just the reverb on its own. Play it again. And then combine that with our horns. Oops. Just gives a little bit more room. Okay. So we have this on the left, this in the center, that on the right. Awesome. And now what I'd like to do is I'd like to throw on multiband dynamics, and I'd like to throw on a specific preset of this called OTT, which just kind of flattens the heck out of things. And let's hear how it sounds now. Not, I don't want all of that, but a lot of that. Less of the low end, though. A lot less of the low end. We even throw on EQ afterwards. I'm filtering out the low end right now with an EQ. compressor afterwards. I'll use this one to catch peaks, so I'll turn the ratio way up. We'll look at the graph here. Cool. It's about where I want it. So that's one option for the drop. What I'm going to do is keep that there. So what we'll end up moving. We'll come up with some other options from our kit here, some other phrases, and export them out into audio on the resample track, and then move them onto this track where they will be processed by all of these plugins. The saturator to give it a bit of distortion and just to enhance it a little bit, give it some more harmonics. The EQ to cut out some of the frequencies on the low end because we're going to have a sub, so I'm going to even do that more. We have a little bit of a dip here. I might bring that up some. But we have a dip here because right around 1K we have the horns and everything else that's kind of melodic happening. So I'm cutting out those frequencies to make room for the horns for now. That's all. I'm just kind of trying to balance. Of course, we still have the harmony and all of the chord sounds here, but this is for a different section of the song, so we're kind of ignoring it for now. All right. So now that we have that in place, let's go to the drums. So I've done a couple things. First of all, I had a kit beforehand. This is what it sounded like. Decent, but temporary. So I turned it off here. If it's not yellow, it's off on the track here. Right. Okay. So I muted this one, and I might as well just close it down and move it to the top because it's going to be out of the way. And instead, I have added this kit. And I have added this kit here. Oops, it's not soloed. But I'm only using certain sounds out of it. I'm using particularly these three sounds, the hi-hat sounds. Also, I've added on this particular sound, this closed hi-hat, I went into controls and I turned on the LFO, and then I am modulating the pan. So you might be able to hear it moving from left ear to right ear just a little bit as I play this. That's due to that LFO. And the pitch is also changing as well. So it's... That's so that every time I play the hi-hat, it's just a little bit different sounding, a little bit in a different area, so it gives it some interest. It makes it more interesting to listen to. It gives it some variety. It helps. It does. It makes it sound a little bit less repetitive, a little bit more human, a little bit more natural, I guess you could say. So we have these two going on together. So I've taken the kick and the snare of this one. Oops. Because I like their sound. I actually replaced the kick in this first kit, though. It was something else, and I put a new sample here. And I like the snare sound, so I kept that. There's also a snap, or a clap I could use. could do something with that. Haven't decided yet though. But basically we've got this in conjunction with a little rhythm I came up with for the hi-hats. But I want to use this sparingly because I would like to try, and I'm experimenting with this here. I would like to try this static kit. I was browsing through my drum racks and I found this static kit glitch. And all of the sounds within it are not really drums. They're sort of... okay, well they're silent right now because it's not soloed. Also, I have an arpeggiator on it. I can turn that off for now. All the sounds on it are just kind of like glitches and high-pitched noises. Some of them kind of resemble like traditional drums. Like this one would be you could consider this one a snare. But I mean, some of them like that might be a kick, right? If you have some kind of like foundation. But you might notice that they're kind of weak sounding. That's because I went at the very end and I put on a compressor and an EQ8 to cut out all of the low frequencies and cut out some of those mid frequencies as well. I would just want this to be a top layer glitch sound effect that would perhaps take the place of the hi-hats and make for some more interest. Also, I've got an auto pan on the end to make it move around the head, right? Go from left ear to right ear. So it's not all just in one spot. So and rather than play in a pattern myself, you noticed I had turned off an arpeggiator at the beginning. I put on an arpeggiator at the beginning so that instead of using an arpeggiator in the traditional sense by like going between notes of a chord or different held notes, I'm using the parameters here to help me kind of randomize the notes for me. So there is, of course, your rate, how long the notes are held for, offsets, repeats, but what I'm mainly using is this transpose section over here, where we have steps and distance. What steps mean is how, or we have these two work together in that it will take, right now, it will take 6 steps up and then, or 6 steps down, and each one of those steps is 3 semitones down. So it'll play. This could better be demonstrated with a melodic instrument. Let me go to Massive X here. I think this one's got. Yeah, cool. That'll do. So throw an arpeggiator on here. Right, switches between notes as you'd expect. And this I can use to demonstrate what gate does as well. Gate changes the length of the note. Rate. I'll keep it with 1/12. But typically what I'd be doing with the, also I'm also just able to hold down the note and it repeats itself. So what I'm going to do with that is I'll turn up the steps and then maybe I'll go, so I'll set it to the same things that were on the other arpeggiator. So step 6, distance minus 3 semitones, and then this happens. It plays 6 notes, and then each one is a third down from the other one. So I'm taking that. I'm taking this concept of being able to just hold down one note and then it plays out a sequence of them. And I'm using it to alternate between different glitch sounds. So I'm going up here in my glitch, and then in my kit, I have an arpeggiator at the beginning, so I can hold down one of the keys on my drum pad, and it will randomly switch between, or not randomly, it's a pattern, but I can play random notes. It'll switch between the different sounds so that I get some kind of interesting glitchiness without having to do much thinking. So right now it's set to distance 0. So if I play a note, it's just going to repeat that one, but I'll turn up the distance. And now, I'm just holding down one note, and I get this. Or, oh. See, I'm not doing much to make this happen. Also, it's set to 16th notes as its rate, and it's got groove swing 16. So that means the notes are going to be swung like this. And then each time another note plays, each time another sample plays, because they're all in a choke group in this drum rack, they're going to cut each other off. So, and some of the samples in this are kind of really, really short, really tiny, so you get some interesting rhythms out of this. Then you can just play it with the kit, and there you go. Okay, I've got to solo the drums, though. All of them. Let's change up the parameters a bit. I'll go more steps, more distance. We'll go 8th notes. Another thing I can do is, let's say I want to be able to just hold down one note, be as lazy as humanly possible. I can drag in, I can drag in another MIDI effect called random, which means that I can just hold down a note, and then I can put it after the arpeggiator, so the arpeggiator will make it so when I hold down note, multiple notes come out, and then I put it through random, and that will change the notes occasionally, depending on a certain percentage. So I can change the chance up to, let's say, 76% or so. Give it a couple choices. We'll say you can choose from 8 different things. And in this way, it'll add a note up. So, okay, I'm going to actually try this on that other instrument just to kind of demonstrate its exact effect on the notes here. So let's put in our actually I'm going to take the exact 2 effects I have on here right now, and we'll see what they do to actual notes. So copy and paste that over here. Yes, I want to do that, but I can't select before the instrument. There we go. Okay, now if I hold down a note and I solo the instrument as well, let's turn off random first of all. I also set a key here. Let's turn that off, just to demonstrate more clearly what's happening. So, it's arpeggiating. Also, it's going randomly between those notes with the random parameter, right? So I already am getting some sort of randomness, but it's within a certain range. So I want to increase that randomness by adding this in. And now, I'm just holding one note. Let's try putting this to the test on our drums now, because each one of those notes represents a different little glitchy sound, and we can get some pretty interesting results by just holding one note down and soloing the kit. Ooh, bidirectional. Alright, now let's just hold down one note and record. 2, 3, 4. Split the note. I want to start on a different bass. Try this one. And then each time I play through, it's going to be a different, little pattern. What I'm going to do is limit it to after the horn hits. So, boom, 2, 3, glitch, 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 glitch. And then it pauses, boom, and resumes. And then resumes here. Pauses. And then just keeps going. So, 2. So that's got to cut off a little early. Same here. Same here. That could start a little earlier as well. And that. Let's put on some effects to make this more prominent. Right now we've got a compressor on it and some other stuff, but we can do with a reimagining of this. I particularly want to throw on drum bus some sort of compression to bring this all out. And with drum bus, this also is a transient shaper, so I'm able to enhance the transients on all of these using transients, this knob right here. Now has a little bit more impact. Let's also throw on some drive. This one comes in a little too early. Nice. Yeah. Let's think of some other options for bass. Maybe something simpler. Something simpler. So what I'm going to do is move this into a track 18. I'm going to move this into its session view. That way I can save the MIDI. And I will delete. Try this again. I'm going to have to copy the envelope automation that's on this as well. So I'm going to take the take this track, move it to here. All right. Let's actually just put the processing that's on this already here. Just I want to hear what it sounds like. I'll take it off once I have the MIDI down. Or do I just record it in like this, and then just have the resampled track? Yeah, I want it to be consistent, so I just want to have the sounds on there, so I can make intelligent, so I can hear if it's going to sound decent with all the processing on there. See how many different kind of I can't decide how many different kind of drops and different grooves you can get out of having like a bass kit like this, and it gives you, you know, makes it a lot more immediate to get. I wouldn't say immediate, a lot quicker to get ideas out, or to generate ideas. Like I'm just coming up with them as we go because I have all these sounds here, and I don't have to spend so much time tweaking all these knobs and all these effects. I seem rather dark in the camera. That's better. Yeah, you don't have to spend so much time in these patches here, tweaking the sound, getting it to be perfect. If I can pull you up, you know, getting these LFO shapes to just be exactly where you want them to be. You can try to just mess around in the synth, get some cool sounds out of it, record them, slice them up, yada yada yada, and organize them after the fact, rather than, you know, fuss about too much with the fine details. So let's record something else. Let's try to keep it simpler now. Let's try to keep it less busy, and I'll pick the sounds carefully. Like this one, I definitely want to use. I can hear a little bit of LFO action. Quantize. I'm going to change some of these notes out for other sounds. I'm going to tone down the glitches a bit. Particularly, let's slow down the arpeggiator to 1/8 notes. Keep the same groove, but slow it down. I like that. I like that. Maybe we could have that everywhere. Something like that. Or is that? Am I looking at the wrong? No. Oh, there. So that happens there. Come on. I think this note is a little bit later than it should be. Wait a minute. Yes, that one. Let's try that instead. Nice. Okay, let's record that one out. Solo the bass first, then resample. Okay. Let's make sure the effects are off. Oh, where did I put the effect? Oh, they're still here. Okay. All right. Resample. 4. Cool. And okay, so we've captured this already as a clip, so we can just go ahead and move this over top. We still have it. It's over here. I'm going to go ahead and save this one as well, right underneath. And then we can add the transposition back in. So what we'll have to do is go here to our old clip and grab the values. So Control C on that, or Apple C, and go in here. So to this clip automation, clip transpose, it's already there, good. and Control V. Now we have the notes correct. It's not correct. Wait a minute. What? Oh, I was playing it over here. I need to play it over here. Okay, what? What? Oh, okay, it was this track. Okay, turn that off. It was right, but I was playing the wrong version. Probably could do with this starting earlier. Maybe there. That's even cooler, actually, if it started, like, back here. Maybe not. Maybe if it curved more exponentially, like that, so it reached the peak. Yeah, that might be appropriate. Oh, this one. What I would like to do is have these effects available to me. So I'm going to try something here. I'm going to create what is known as an effect rack, because I'm going to essentially separate out the frequency, LFO mount, all of this stuff that's controlling this rack itself. I'm going to separate it out into its own instrument rack, and I'm going to use that on the resample base so that I can start to add the LFOs in and effects on top of what's already here, so to create more interest. But I'm going to do it in a way that I can consolidate it down and copy it around much easier, and have these macros. I want to have the macros. So let's go here to our audio effects, and I'm going to drag on a... Just check the time. I'm going to drag on an instrument rack, or not an instrument rack, an audio effect rack up here on the top. And then you'll notice it comes with some macros, comes with some chains, similar to a drum rack or an instrument rack. So let's go back into our bass slices, and we will copy all of these effects here inside the chain. Now let's keep in mind what these macros are. Frequency, LFO mount. Macro 3 is the delay. It is synced to all of these volumes. Sample soft is synced to the Redux plugin, the downsampler, and LFO sync rate, or LFO, yeah, sync rate is connected to this knob right here. So hopefully when I copy this over, it should preserve. It does not, but that's fine. We can recode them super easy. All I gotta do, map this, map this, map this, map all of these to macro 3. This is the delay amount. And then macro 2, what was macro 2? Yes, the LFO amount. So that's going to be right here. Oh, wait. What did I... Okay, I changed the LFO in two ways. LFO sync rate. Oh, yeah, rate and amount. Okay. Okay. So I'm going to go back here. We have amount. This should be rate. So remove mapping. So that's going to be tied to rate. That's going to be tied to macro 2. So now everything's the same. We have our effects on the bass track. And now we can do stuff like I can have fun with this, but let's do some more things after I go to the bathroom. So I will be right back, guys. And Ableton's not loading. Guess I can edit this, I suppose. Okay, let's continue, shall we? So instead of just messing around with this some more, we could do this all day, but we're not going to. I'm going to bore you all with that. We're going to start introducing some other elements and maybe starting to arrange things a little bit. So we'll look at the project as a whole right now. So right now it's just sort of like concepting. Another thing I'd like to do is get rid of all of this and put it into session view onto the resampled track right here. So we've got a couple clips, but it's not quite enough. Or we need to get these on there. So let's do that really quick. This can go. That's just a repetition that we don't need. So take that, move that there, move that there, move that there. Another one. This can go. Those are there because I was recording, and then it reached the end of the 8-bar loop, and then started to record over the beginning of this clip. So we don't want that ending. We don't want that beginning bit there. But we do want to take all of these samples and move them onto the resampled track, including the ones. Well, not. Yeah. So this, like I say, resampled. Well, I guess I'll just call this RS raw. So this is like raw directly from the synth, and then this is resampled version of the kit. So this is after it's been sliced and replayed in a different rhythm, and it's resampled again back into audio so that it can be transposed. Make sense? And we have over here our patches, so we can not mess with those for now. Okay, one thing I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to add a sub, and I want to add sidechain to this bass, as well as the sub bass. Well, sub bass first, of course. Yeah, it's already there. Sidechain, FF Pro C. Sidechain source going to FF Pro C. So all we need to do is create a sidechain trigger MIDI clip. I'm going to do that by moving the main drums up here. And now, as long as this is on, it's being sent to FF Pro C now, which is just a compressor plugin. And it's over here. We can go in and look at what's happening. So there's our sidechain. And now all we need to do is make a bass track. I'm trying to figure out why it's such a harsh. Yeah, it's just extremely loud for some reason. It's the You hear that? I'm just gonna switch out the patch. I'm gonna pick one from Serum that I know is cleaner, because analog is not exactly perfect. Also, I think it's just being heavily compressed by whatever processing is here. So let's try a Serum version of a sub. Get rid of this thing that's not working. We don't need this crazy EQ curve quite yet. So I know for the fact that we've got a factory sub sign here. Perhaps we do. Okay, I can make one myself. What is happening to it? Oh, I know. Every time I play this analog bass, every time I play this waveform, it's on a random phase. See how as I move the phase around, it starts to cancel it out with the. So one of the. I could talk a day about phase, but short and simple, like I have a sine wave here, a sine wave here. Depending on where each sine wave starts. So like kind of how an oscillator works is it's going to start at a certain spot on this wave, and then it's going to follow through with, like, this kind of represents the volume of it over time, and this is like one really, really short slice. And the phase determines on what point of this wave will the sound start playing. For the sub, it's always going to start at the beginning of the sine wave and then go, I'm not sure which direction it goes, but it just appears on the image that it goes down, then up. But here we have two controls for phase. We have the starting phase, and then we have a random control, which randomizes the starting phase. So if I had this random up, and what happens when you have one of your sine waves start on an upper position and the other starts in the opposite, like in the lower position, they are combined together, and those two cancel out. So you get, so if I had this phase starting at 0, it doesn't fully cancel out, but it gets a lot, okay, it's random right now, but it gets a lot thinner sounding. And that's what you can hear. You can kind of hear some of those frequencies being canceled out because the sub and the sine wave here are playing on opposite. They are sounding opposite, like, I guess you could say numbers, opposite values. So let's keep those uniform, because we're using two waves here. So I'll keep it 180 degrees and random all the way down. Now we have a nice sub sound. Cool. Throw in a hair of distortion. Bit of compression. A little bit better of an envelope. That's good. That's good. Okay, that's all we need. That's all we need it for. So let's combine it with this. Nope, not that one. I meant this one. I want this to have sort of its own transient. Maybe some kind of noise will bring it in. This envelope could do that too, maybe? So I'm going to bring in a little bit of another wavetable. I'm going to throw it through some overdrive. It just occurred to me that I'm probably going to need the same pitch automation on the sub as I have on the bass here. Okay. Okay, I can pull that off. I can pull that off. Because this has a pitch bend that it instead of going from C, D, 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 C, 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 D, D, it goes C, slowly pitch bends up to D, to C sharp, then D sharp, and then, no. Follows an automation curve. So we gotta have the same automation curve here, which means we have to have a way to control the pitch of the sub in our serum. Very simple. In fact, not that simple, because I have three waveforms, and this one. Oh, you know what? Actually, no. It is simple. It is simple. There is actually a global pitch control here. Tuning, global tuning. Where is it? Oh, right there. Master tune. Where exactly is it, though? Tuning file. Well, I know I can get to it in the mod matrix. Let's make macro control it. Macro 1 control it. Wants to control global, master tuning. Now I can control the pitch like that. So we'll start it down at C here. And I don't need to go higher than E, so there we go. Cool. Easy. So now macro 1 controls the pitch, and all I have to do is go into the sub here, control serum macro 1, grab the clip envelope that's inside here. So we've got to go to clip, transpose, copy this, and then go here. Ooh, it's not that simple, is it? Wait. Wrong track. Huh, it is. But we've got to change the range. Okay. So now I've got to lower all of these down to 0 and these up to 100. And this one down to 0. And this one up. And now I can just hold down a note, right? Or at least hold down notes as long as there are notes happening in bass slices. So let's do that really quick. And the only note I have to hold down is C, because it's just going to transpose up from there. 2, 3, 4. let's set up the FF Pro C. Let's set up this sidechainer to be on the entire bass group. That way, all of this gets sidechained as well. I'm going to make sure that this is still going there. Yep, good. Maybe not. Let's see. Let's see. Is it still going there? Doesn't sound like it. Okay, we need to reset the input for that sidechain. So we need to go here. Yeah. So it is working actually. Oh, it's not. Wait a minute. What? You should be sidechaining. Oh, is it because I have this soloed? It is. It is. Let's quantize these. Make sure they're all the same velocity, even though it's not going to matter with the patch, because I don't have any velocity automation on things. That's pretty good. Let's hear it with everything. I think it's too harsh, actually. Never mind. I need to tune that back a bit. Another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to throw on a little bit of an LFO onto our sub so that we can have it sort of follow the rhythm of the bass below with some automation. I'll use an LFO to do it. And I'll probably put on a filter so I can do something like that. And I'll have to also modulate the level of the sub. Ooh, that's going to be a problem. Oh, right. Duh. I've got to put the sub through the filter as well. Only oscillator A is going through the filter right now. All of them have to. There we go. Something like that. Cool, now I can have some sort of pulse. And if we combine it, helps a little bit. Let's tighten it even more. I'll even have it control the amount of drive. Nice. Last thing to do is to make the kick more, or at least for this little section, the last thing to do here is to make the kick more powerful. Because right now we've just boosted, added sub, added volume, and volume with these compressors to the bass to get it reined in, to get it in a good spot. But we have neglected the level of the drums now. So what I'm going to do, actually, is I'm going to turn down the entire bass group. Turn it down to like -7. That way, relatively, the kick and entire kit becomes more powerful. And another thing I'm going to do is boost the volume of the kick itself in the sampler. Ooh. Don't want to trigger the overdrive too much, though. Yeah. We also got a little bit of delay in there. Put a fade on the end so that doesn't happen. Also going to throw on drum bus, the effect on it, so I can use the transient enhancer, transient shaper thing. Drum bus, where are you? There you are. Ooh, I just noticed I could just drag these drum effects to any other track that I wanted. That's nice. Just a little bit of extra edge. I can also make it do this. The problem is, it needs to, and also I need to match its volume, or match its note. Ooh, you know what though? Nah, it's not having much of an effect. There, that's about where I want it to sound. Beautiful. Let's work on a build-up into it. So what I'm going to do is take everything here and just bring it all forward. All of it. Yep, good. That's good. We'll do a... Actually, I'll make room for other sections as well. I'll make room for something else here. So I'll have an intro. I'll make some flags to tell us where things will be. Intro. And then this will be chorus /build, fuck D? What? Okay, I can't type. Whoops. Drop a... We still got that too. Second section with the varied horns that I haven't messed with yet. I might want to move the kicks around for this. Yeah, I think I will. So there, boom, boom. I want it to happen at the same time. So I'm gonna pull this clip up, and we'll adjust those timings. That one's too late. That needs to be there. It does not like having the kick and snare at the same time. Cool. And then, yeah, we'll get there. Just adding some prep there. We could do a different bass figure or maybe a variation on this. Let's keep this MIDI. Bass slice is 6. Okay, I'll go over here. Yeah, right now we only have the first one. I want to take this one as well. I think we have that. Yep, good. Clean sub. Oh, that's not being used right now. Neither is that. I'm going to save the sub track. All right. Thinking what we could do here. So we have these harmony and chord tracks that I'm going to start to use. Of course, we've got to do some processing to bring them in, and because right now they sound like this. Nothing. And I want to pick one of those and use it to lead us in. So that would be maybe this one? What in the world? Why would it be like this one doesn't play? Because this has to be sold as well? What in the world? What else is preventing this from playing on its own? Is there a filter on it? There is. But I still can't hear it. Why is that? Alright, well then we'll just mute these two for now. Yeah, the group has to be active. Oh, it's off. Well, okay, that might explain it. Yeah, since I had the whole group off, whenever I had just the pad soloed, it wasn't playing. There we go. I wonder if I could have this restart. Does this have a filter built in? I forget. Oh, this is just the envelope. Something else is record ready. I don't know what. Is that just that sound? Alright, that's the type of wave shape modulation. That's what I want. There's our filter. Ah. So these two together now. Nice. Let's just try a hard like switch between them. Oh, no wonder. They were different shapes. Let's try the square shape. So it's just gonna switch between them. Because they're offset, this one's offset 180 degrees out of phase, so like we talked about earlier, this one's going to start at half, at the middle of its cycle, so it's going to start all the way down. The other one's going to start all the way up, so then they're just going to alternate between. This means they're not exactly going to cancel each other out because they're not summing together, so it's just like switching between them. So let's hear this. Doesn't sound the best because I've got automation on this clip that's meant to sound good with quarter notes. See? Well, not this one particularly, but this one. That's what's giving it its sound. So I'm going to set a motion that has eighth or quarter notes. And then the same for here. There we go. Nothing yet is automated for this one. Ah, this one comes in. This one doesn't. Let's try that. Yeah, it's not exactly going to work because we're using minor and major chords, and this interval that's built into the sound is particularly for major. So it sounds cool, but not in this context because there's too many notes. Ah, well, geez. Nope. Nope. How do I change the motion? I'm somewhat familiar with this instrument, but I have not messed with it too much. I would like to be able to change. I think that wobble was built into the sound itself, so unfortunately, that might not be the motion that I'm thinking of. Let's make this have a longer attack, maybe. Oof. Oof. That is very, very, very harsh sounding. Let's EQ that. And all of a sudden it's good. I'm thinking of this melody. It's gonna be like on a synth lead sound, but I'm just recorded in with the piano for now. 2, 3, 4. Something like that. I want these to be sort of similar, like glissando notes, or pickup notes, I guess you could say, accent notes. Quantize. This might mess up my timings, but that's okay. Yeah, for all of these. All I need to do now is just bring these forward a bit. Come on. It's too late. That's the problem. It's almost there. Come on. It's kind of tricky to get them in just the right spot. But this is better than playing it over and over again. Although, I kind of am playing it over and over again. But, you know, you get the idea. Okay, now let's get it on an appropriate sound. And also get rid of this first note that we don't need. Goodbye. All right. We will change grand piano out for something else. Maybe a wavetable might have some interesting sounds. Lead. The attack ain't right. Duck speak, perhaps. Let's actually get in there and change the wavetables around a bit. Because it's getting there, but it... Ooh, excuse me. Ooh. This is also quite a good synth that Ableton's got just kind of built in. It's called Wavetable. It's like a simpler form of Serum. It's two waveforms, and you can shift through different cycles of them. What if something was controlling that wavetable position? I think if we control Well, yeah. Envelope 3 is controlling it. What does envelope 3 look like? Envelope 3. Where can I find that in here again? Mod sources. So we have our amplitude, envelope 2, envelope 3. We can adjust the I see. It has to do with that's kind of cool. Let's choose a different category. And this could do great layered with something else. Let's choose from a different instrument. We'll go with something else here. Let's go with will this work? Electric X. Another synth here that I really like by Tone 2. And we're looking for particularly lead sounds, but we've got lots and lots of categories. Let's get the melody on here. Let's make something control the cutoff of this filter here. So we're going to come down here. We want it to be cut off 2, and that's going to be controlled by LFO 2. Actually, no, it's going to be controlled by, since LFO 1 is controlled by Fine 1. Oh no, Aftertouch. It's controlled by Aftertouch. And something else? No, that's it. I'll leave this controlled by LFO. Okay, maybe not LFO. Oh, we gotta lower the range. LFO 3 maybe? Random? What? Some of the names of these filters, man, are just yeah, against TOS. We've got some effects we can insert here, but I like the way this sounds now. Let's try combining this with the old sound. We'll have to add a filter afterwards that will cut out some of the low end. I mean, the high end, because we're going to filter it in. I want this to decay faster. Start 0. Oh no. I'd like it to fade 1 millisecond, fade 3 milliseconds. Ah, the release here. There we go. Pen this left, pen this right. This one's way quieter now, so we can throw the volume up. Also, the filters down. Let's turn all the filters up. Nice. What about putting that in with this? I'm just curious how it might sound. Yep, that's gonna be a good one. I'm liking this so far. I'm liking this. I'm liking this. Of course, that's not gonna be the final way it's gonna sound, but like, they sound good together, so we're good. So we made it. We made a good thing happen here. So yeah. Time is, oh my gosh, it's 1:40. Oh geez. Yeah, sometimes you get caught up. But we got some good stuff done today. We consolidated our bass tracks down, our bass sounds down into a single kit, recorded out some options. So we have also this can go. This ain't really supposed to be here right now. Actually, just get rid of those. Came up with this. By going in here and resampling a bass slices track and doing all of that. Let me play here the other option that I created, this one earlier. It was in this here. Right? And then we can just have more and more of these, or a few that work, and make a decision later on what the final bass line's going to be. Yeah, lots of stuff done today. We also did some drums, got that going, and I believe with that on that note, we will be back tomorrow. Same time, same place. And we will continue making this song very, very awesome. At least in my opinion. Yeah. So, come back here tomorrow. Feel free to ask questions in chat about what's going on. What the heck is this? What the heck is that? But hope you enjoyed. Those of you who stuck around, thank you for staying. And make sure you come back tomorrow. We're going to be doing more fun stuff like this. And yeah. Alright. Well, I will see you all tomorrow.